Please note that in this recording, some of the questions may be inaudible, but the Master's answers are audible and clear.
Any questions you would like to ask? I think you should sit in such a way, because I see every day you rotate to sit at the front. But those people, those who are in the front line, they should ask questions. Everybody will get opportunity, because people speaking from the back, I can hardly hear them. They don't have the service of the mic. Anyway, if I can hear, I will answer it. Yes, yes. Sister Sharon literally means resignation, unconditional surrender to somebody. And we can only surrender what belongs to us, on what we dominate, on what we have control. We can only surrender that. Which doesn't belong to me, which dominates me, I cannot surrender. So it is the mind which we have to surrender to the Master. First, we have to make our mind own. We have to control our mind. We have to dominate on our mind. When we overpower our mind, then only we are in a position to surrender to the Master. Otherwise, intellectually, you may say that you have surrendered to the Master, but this is only intellectual satisfaction. The real surrender comes when we are able to control our mind and we dominate on our mind. Mind is under our control. Then we can surrender to the Master. Then we live in His will. Otherwise, we are living in the will of the mind. And this can only happen when we go beyond the realm of mind and Maya. Then we are in a position to surrender. When the soul starts merging into the Master, when the soul starts becoming one with the Master, that is a surrender. But now mind stands in our way. It doesn't let us surrender to anybody. It's the ego or mind which is in our way. So when we are able to eliminate that ego, then automatically we surrender to the Master. So love helps us to eliminate ego, to become another being, to merge into another being. That is surrender. Yes.
Maharaj, we feel pain during meditation in the body. Is it better to readjust or fight through it or ignore it?
We should adjust.
Readjust our position.
Yes, you can adjust. You see, by changing posture, you don't lose your concentration at all. It's the wrong concept. Concentration is of the mind, not of the body. If you are sitting uncomfortably, fighting to retain the posture, then you cannot concentrate at all. Your whole attention is fighting to retain the posture. So there's no harm in changing the posture at all. Yes.
During our meditation, should we be aware of the withdrawal from the spinal centers as we are with the arms and legs?
You should not worry at all about the withdrawal. Withdrawal becomes automatically. We should try to be here at the eye center. And you can only succeed to be here when you are able to withdraw your consciousness back to the eye center. So automatically, you see, you will withdraw from your feet and legs and everything. But don't try to be conscious how much I have withdrawn from the leg, how much I have withdrawn from the arm. Then you are thinking always about the legs and arm. You don't concentrate at all. So you forget about numbness of any part of the body. Just be here at the eye center. Yes, yes. Difference between? Inner garden? Guidance, yes. Well, sister, you can be only sure about the inner guidance when you see somebody to guide you within. Then you can say that I am getting inner guidance. Otherwise, it may be your higher mind, better mind, pure mind, which is guiding you. That also is a good guidance. Higher mind also becomes our friend. But still it is the mind. The real guidance that we are trying to seek when we see the radiant form of the Master. Yes.
Is the strength of the spoken sound that you hear in direct proportion to the extent to which the attention has been kept at the eye center and on the word? Or on the
Well, it is to the proportion to the concentration you have. The more you concentrate, the better you hear the sound. It becomes more distinct, more clearer, and more pulling. The more concentration.
concentration is more important than the length of time by far.
Naturally, concentration is more important.
I've heard that in the time between our meditation, that it's better than mechanical simran is to live in the consciousness of God. Tell us what that means, what that is.
Can you repeat your question again?
I've heard that it's better to live in the consciousness of God than do mechanical simran.
What do you mean to live in the consciousness of God?
Better just to think of God in some way or other.
In what way you are thinking of God? Just not talking to your mind. Just not by merely talking to your mind that you're thinking about the God. When you are concentrating at the eye center and becoming in touch with the sound within, you are talking to God. You are living in the God. There's no difference between the God and the sound. You have read in the St. John, Word is God. So when we are in touch with the Word within, we are actually in touch with the God. Mere thinking about the Lord doesn't lead us anywhere at all.
So would it be better to do mechanical simran if that's all we can do?
Even otherwise, thinking is also mechanical. When you are thinking about the God, that is also mechanical. See, it's better to concentrate with the help of Simran and be there where you can be in touch with the sound. That is living with the God, trying to live with the God. Yes? Pardon? How Simran taken? Simran take us quite a long way. See, ultimately, you leave Simran when the sound starts pulling you upward and you're absolutely absorbed in the sound and it becomes absolutely distinct and clearer and it doesn't let your thoughts go anywhere, then you don't need Simran at all. Pardon? Yes, definitely you should listen to the sound. You see, we have to carry both. We have to try to concentrate every day with the help of Simran. And we should also try to be in touch with the sound. We have to attend to both of them, Simran as well as sound, so that we have the habit of hearing the sound also. We have to create that habit to be one with the sound as much as we can with the help of Simran. Yes.
In the teachings, we are told we must die daily. You tell us to die daily. What is God's day? Does it begin in the morning and end in the evening?
I have not followed your question. What has this to do with die daily?
What I'm saying is, we have an idea of the day. It starts when it gets light and it stops in the dark. Is that what it means to die daily? We are told to die daily. You tell us to die daily. What is God's day?
God's day?
Yes, God's day.
Every day is God's day. There is no day which is without God. Every day is a God's day. Every place is a God's place. Every moment is a God's moment. Every day is a God's day. But we don't think that it is a God's day. We think it is our mind's day. It is our day, our moment. God is everywhere. Every nook and corner. Every moment we should think about the Lord. Every day we should think about the Lord. Whenever we think about the Father, it becomes the Father's day. Otherwise, He is everywhere. Yes. Yes, anyone.
In case, from a master's standpoint, can you explain something of the love and mercy that a master has for a disciple, which is only for an attachment to the holy feet and for the desire for the inner darshan, although, like myself, it fails constantly by thought and deed?
Well, brother, when a beggar knocks at the door for alms, he is asking for mercy. So, knocking at the door invokes the mercy of the house owner. Attending to meditation, we are trying to invoke the mercy of the Father, grace of the Father. And what is the grace of the Father? To pray to Him. Whatever stands between us and the Father, that should be eliminated. The barrier should be eliminated. And we shall become one with Him. That is the mercy we are trying to seek. That is the forgiveness we are trying to seek. Our own ego, our own load of karma, or our mind stands between us and the Father. So we are trying to seek the forgiveness, His forgiveness, to forgive us whatever stands between us and the Father. Meditation is nothing but invoking the mercy of the Father. By our own efforts, we will never be able to account for all the karmas, all the rubbish which we have collected all through, right from the beginning of the creation. It's only His mercy which can pull us back to His level. Without His grace and mercy, we would never have thought even about the Father. We will never get an opportunity even to think about Him. We will never, our circumstantial environments will not be conducive to our meditation at all, without His grace and mercy. So He is the one who is pulling us from within. He is the one who makes us receptive to His grace. He is doing everything.
A person's mind is such that they feel their job is in a way that they're not really sure what it's Lord's will to have them in that position where it's their mind is telling them to leave and to get what they consider to be a better position for meditation, or it's very hard to decide with the mind. It's the idea that you get from the master or from the mind itself. You don't know whether you're putting yourself in a different position or not. How does one really try to decipher that?
You should try to do your best honestly, and then leave the result to the Father. You shouldn't try to deceive yourself. You shouldn't try to justify what you want to do. You take your decision in the best, with best honesty. Then leave the result to the Father. Only that will happen what He wants it to happen. Because whatever has to happen has already happened. And whatever has happened or are going to happen, actually that is also a result of our own karmas in the past. That has become our destiny. And to live in that destiny is to live in the will of the Father. Father doesn't write indiscriminately what we are going through, what we have to go through in this life. It is our own actions which we have to face, which we have to, go through now, their results, being in the body. Yes? Please. This has been discussed many times. They are not.
All glory to those who live in the water like fish and enjoy the flow.
You mean those who have already joined the Father, what is the glory now left? They have achieved the highest. Those who are trying to live in separation and enjoying that love, glory to them. That's what he's trying to explain. Oh, they are still separated and still were anxious to meet the Father, and are full with love and devotion for the Father, and are still separated. It's glory to them. Those who have joined already, they have accomplished what they want to do. Yes. Yeah, you see, they have real love. That's why my subject today. You see, the relationship of the soul and the Father is that of love, that of longing. He says, glory to those people. They are fortunate who have longing, real love, real devotion for the Father, and are anxious to become one with Him. Same thing, to become one with the Father or to go back to the Father. No, it's not that better to remain separate. Those who have already achieved that goal, what is to say anything about them? They have already achieved their object. We are only concerned who are separated from Him, are full with love and devotion for the Father. See, actually, this is what you read is a translation from his satsangs, an extract from his satsang. Many things are lost while taking the extracts or translating into the right language. Every language has its own way of expression, and every language has its own beauty. Yeah. One at a time. Sister, we have no free will. We have a marked destiny which we have to go through. and we can't help it. We are all puppets in the hands of our destiny. That is what it means. And Christ says, even the hair on the body are numbered. And Guru Nanak says, even the leaves, no leaf of a tree moves without his order. So how can anything happen without his will? Well, definitely. Definitely. You see, we are born with certain destiny, which we have to go through during the span of our life. And we can't change it. It is His grace who has given us this longing. And then He has given us a birth in such a family where we can grow this longing, grow this depth. He has given us that opportunity, that environment, that atmosphere in which we can grow His love, His devotion. And that is all part of destiny. That is also part of destiny. What you can't achieve, also is part of destiny. What you are able to achieve, that's also a part of destiny. Yes. Without destiny, nobody comes on the path. Nobody comes to the path just by coincidence. There is no coincidence in Santmat, so-called coincidence. Christ said only the marked will come. Only the allotted will come. And who has done the marking? Who has allotted? That allotment and marking has become our destiny. When we mark some soul to follow the path, so when that soul takes the birth, that becomes its destiny. Yes. How they? Obtain drug? No. I have not followed your question. Then? Body gets rested by meditation? How it is? Bowel reacts? How the body reacts. Try it one day. You will know how the body reacts. You see, body has a great connection with the mind. If your mind is healthy, happy, you don't mind any fatigue at all. It doesn't bother you at all. If your mind is not happy, any little thing can tire you out. Mind goes a long way to relax us in body, to make us happy in the body. It has a great connection with the body. Now doctors have also started doing, to also treat the mind along with the body, so that body may become fresh again. You can't ignore the mind and treat the body. Yes.
Going back up to the earlier questions, because it seems to be forming a question. That is, you say sit in a comfortable position when you meditate. However, you also say that meditation is a struggle, a beautiful struggle. And
Struggle of the mind.
yes, and also the body, right? I mean, the body aches, and that's why we change positions and so forth. And is it not true that you have to go beyond the ache, that changing positions will not always be enough? In fact, it's not enough.
Well, brother, you can sit in any comfortable posture. Ultimately, you forget your body, in what way you are sitting. You see, concentration means you have risen above the body, you don't know even what posture you are sitting. So if we are always conscious of the posture, to retain it, with all problem, with all difficulty, so it becomes difficult to concentrate. So there is no harm in changing the posture.
Is there a time when you are uncomfortable before, say, you rise above it and it is forgotten? So that's what I'm trying to get at. It seems to me that it is a struggle to go beyond that, and at a certain point in the meditation you have to.
I tell you, you see, when you are sitting comfortably in a chair, you are thinking about some problem. You never even notice whether you are keeping legs like this or whether you are keeping legs like this, and whether you have changed it during the process of your thinking. You never even conscious of it. They automatically you change. Because you are so much absorbed in thinking to solve that problem, you have become absolutely unconscious whether your hand has been kept here now or here now, or whether you have again taken it here, because your whole mind is in that problem. So in that way, when you are absolutely concentrate, then when you were changing, even you won't even notice that you have changed.
Yes, I see that part now. Because you are struggling so much with the mind to concentrate?
Yes.
That your whole attention is put in that. So there's where the struggle is. Like it seems like one has to establish a focus on the master's face and Simran. And then it seems like it becomes just, I'm sorry to say, it becomes like it drifts away. And then you have to almost look like this.
You see, even if you then change, you won't notice that you have changed. Even when you are absolutely absorbed in Simran and concentration and fighting with the mind to hold it there, even when you change with the mind, so why have another struggle with the body? Yes.
Would it be then more conducive in seeing how the realizing the master within oneself is really the ultimate goal, having the human body? Would it be more conducive to teach yourself, say, while earning a living, in a position where your mind would be of a more relaxed nature, therefore your body wouldn't be as tense? Would that be more beneficial in your meditation?
Well, wherever your job satisfaction is, where you don't live in tension and all that, where you feel happy. Comparatively. Yes.
Maharaji, we're told that all of our souls are dropped in the same ocean, the ocean of the Father. And we also are told that the macrocosm is within the microcosm. So assuming that the Father is everywhere, therefore He is that way that He is in us. I wondered if you could give a definition for the macrocosm within the microcosm. What that really means.
You see, the whole thing is projected from the Father. Christ said that there existed nothing before the Father. There was God, and God has created the whole creation. And nothing existed before the God. So it means the God has projected Himself in the whole creation. So if God is within you, the whole creation is within you.
If the whole creation is within us, why do we have to go through this evolution?
Because you are attached to the creation rather than to the Creator.
Yeah, but that was his choice, wasn't it?
Whatever it may be, we are attached to the creation and not to the Creator. Christ says in St. John, light is there, but darkness comprehend it not. That light which gives life, internal life to all of us, is there within everybody. That God is there within everybody. But darkness comprehend it not. This darkness of which, what type of darkness is this? Attachment to the creation. That has created this darkness. So we don't see that light which gives us life. We don't see that light of God.
That is his will, is it not?
Of course, He has created everything. Everything is going according to His will. And that is also His will. He wants us to back to His own level. Yes? Sister, even if you worry, you don't solve any problem. Then why worry? If worry doesn't solve any problem, then why unnecessarily worry? Then leave everything to the Father. Yes?
You talked about meditation being the process of separating the shabbat from the body. I don't know what the shabbat is. And, it's not tangible for me, and I was wondering if you would talk about separating the shabbat from the body.
Not separating Shabad. The ray of the Shabad, Atma, soul, consciousness. Withdrawing the consciousness to the eye center. Withdrawing our soul back to the eye center. In order to be one with the Shabad or Naam or Lord, whatever you may call it. Yes? Touch of it? You see, these sentences are in reference to certain things which he's trying to explain. You can't pick up a half sentence and then try to get the meaning out of it. If you read the whole para, whole page, you will automatically understand what he's trying to explain. He must have explained also the discipline that yogi has to go through. Yes?
Catholic teaches that no one goes to the Father except to the Son, or a master. And yet we're told to love the Lord, and yet we're told to love the Master. And it seems like a conflict. You can't go to God without the Master, and yet you're supposed to love God more than the Master.
Sister, how can you love someone whom you have never seen? You don't know what he looks like. You don't know where he lives. It's all hypothetical talks. How can you live? How can you love someone you have never seen? So that is why we love the Son, because we see the Son. And that Son is one with the Father, so automatically we love the Father. You see, when we love the Son, who is one with the Father, we are loving the Father. That is the whole concept of loving the Son. Because Guru Nanak says, relationship of Son and Father is that of a wave and a sea. Wave and a sea. Wave can never be separated from the sea. Wave is a part of the sea. Yet, sometime to see, you may think wave is different than the sea. But if you also see the sea, then you know it's a part of the sea. So if you give yourself to the wave, you automatically go to the bottom of the sea. So loving the wave is loving the sea. Loving the Son is loving the Father. Because we can only love whom we see, whom we know. Otherwise, we can never love anyone at all without seeing and without knowing. We are attached to this creation, its object, its faces, because we see them. We live with them. We talk to them. We possess them. So we naturally get attached to them. We get obsessed to have them. So we love them. So how can we love the Father whom we have never seen? We don't know what he looks like, where does he live? So that is why we love the Son, so that we may love the Father. Yes, you can ask anybody. Well, you have to know. You have to put faith somewhere. It must come from within. Otherwise, logically, you can't explain at all. You can't explain the Father. How can you explain the Son? It has to come from within. Yes. Yes.
I heard Swamiji not introduce a new system, made him somehow more acceptable to householders and to Americans. And what it was that he introduced it was different.
Swamiji didn't bring any new teaching at all. No, he made it easier. He explained in a very easy way. He could reveal many things which were hidden before. Because you see, every mistakes have same message to give, but their environment and circumstances is different whenever they have come. Some have parted from man to man, the secrets. Some have given just hints about how to meditate. Some are fortunate enough to explain in detail. It depends, you see, on their circumstances. Because Swamiji came in such a way when there was freedom of religion. So he could explain little better in a more detailed and a simple language. Same thing, not anything different. As Christ said, I speak in parables. Those who meant to understand, they will only understand. Others won't understand. Because the time was such. Jews were very orthodox at that time. And they will not let anybody go out of their, domain. And will not let anybody to say anything contrary to their way of belief or way of thinking. So he said he's talking in parables. Those who are meant, they will understand. But circumstances were different in the time of Swamiji Maharaj. He says, I can explain everything, same thing, in a more detailed way. So Guru Nanak and other Kabir, they have given, just hints here and there. They have said the same thing, but in a concealed, sugar-coated pills. Just concealed secrets, explaining the same thing.
I know personal experience. And I wonder, do you read our magazine about science and soul and spiritual?
I can't say that I read all the articles, but here and there I do. I think sometime I do point out to Mr. Narang, in charge of publication, and he also points out to the auditors and all that. But I don't say that I read all of these magazines, but there are so many now, and hardly have time. But my publication department definitely reads them. And they do point out if there is anything needs correction or otherwise. They do. Yes.
Hiding with your body.
Hiding?
Without pain, no gain. Does it mean that you have to hide in some...
Sister, the very concept of sitting, closing yourself in a room quietly to sit is a great struggle, is a great pain. Because we don't love our own company, we always like to love the company of others. You tell anybody sit quietly in a room, it's impossible for him to sit. Tell him to sit 10 hours with the masses, he won't mind. So people who are not used to sit alone, it's a great pain for them to develop that habit of attending to meditation. They always like to run out and part of this activity or that activity. They don't like their own company. They like the company of only others. So there's no gain without pain. Yes.
Yesterday you said that the mind endures the struggle in meditation and doing similar. But why does it get angry? Is it because of our ego that we're not there immediately? Or because we haven't had any inner progress? Is it the ego that makes us mad? Or is it the mind?
Well, these perversions are with the mind, all these perversions. Anger, greed, lust and all that. They're part of the mind.
You started saying something yesterday about how the mind would enjoy.
No, what I was trying to say, that even the separation is very, very painful. Separation from a beloved is very, very painful. But if anybody asks a lover to forget about this love, he will never at any cost forget the love. I don't say he enjoys it, but he will not forget about his love. Loving a beloved is very painful in separation. But still he wants to live in that rather than to leave or forget about the beloved. Yes.
Diane is not a must for religion programs. And yet, Darshan seems to be so essential. Is it possible for a soul to return to the Father at the end of a lifetime in which there is the initiation and no physical darshan?
There's no difference at all. If Master initiates you with a proxy, there's no difference at all if you attend to your meditation. Real darshan comes within, the radiant form of the Master. Darshan means association with the Master. It definitely increase our love, increase our devotion. Because the people we love, we like to be in their company always. It's natural with us. We always like to enjoy their company. Darshan is nothing but helplessness of the lover to be with the beloved. That is darshan. There's no logic behind it. It is just the helplessness of the lover. If you ask what do you get out of it, if you try to analyze, perhaps you will not be able to know what you get out of it. Yet you can't help yourself. What do we get out of love? Pain. Public criticism. But do we live it? Still we like to live in that. Yes?
Yesterday we talked about the situation being good, and that our own attitudes are the problem. see about discrimination, sometimes I feel like I just protect myself from certain parts of the creation, certain elements. I don't understand that it's discrimination when
You see, discrimination is to choose what is right and what is wrong. So we have to train our mind to accept whatever comes in our way. There's nothing wrong with the creation. Our attitude toward the creation is wrong. Sometimes we think we are happy in this creation, sometimes we think we are miserable in this creation. It is the mind which makes us happy, it's the mind which makes us miserable. Creation remains the same. People who, according to us, are miserable in this world, you ask them, will you like to die? Should I kill you? Then see their reaction. Nobody will like to die. Howsoever miserable they may be. So if we develop that attitude that we accept as His will, then there's no misery at all. Yes, please. Can you? Well, that is what the meditation is training us, to accept everything which comes in our destiny. Meditation is nothing but training our mind to accept or to live in His will. That is the object of meditation. To surrender to Him, to keep us in any way He likes it. And we accept both joy and misery in with the same balance and same attitude. Yes.
Master, if a person has a traumatic emotional experience before he's initiated, he goes in and sees the light, and he remembers that light very well, would it be proper for him to do Dhyan of that light later in
Yes.
meditation?
Yes, you see, Dhyan on the form of the Master is only to hold our attention. When, with the help of Simran and Dhyan, we see that light, then you can absorb yourself in that light. That will hold your attention. It comes to the same thing. That light will hold your attention. Yes.
for myself that the master is the whole pack, and I get bored with the books, and my meditation gets very poor, though I keep doing it. But if I don't have darshan, sometimes, every year or two, then I just feel like I'm not hardly on the path. Is it wrong to put so much dependence on darshan?
Well, sister, it's not wrong, but if we know real concept of the Master, Master is love. It means it absorbs us so much that doesn't let our mind run to the senses at all, or go anywhere else at all. Then we can say you are in love with the Master. If you want to enjoy also all the senses of the world, all the so-called pleasures of the world, and you also think that I want darshan and I am in love with the Master, it's just a self-deception. That love for the Master is that it so much catches your attention that you have forgotten everything else.
Maybe the darshan is needed because you know that you don't have that much pleasure.
In order to develop to that level, of course, we start with all these means. Yes.
They talk about 144,000 being lifted up. Which way do people need that?
Sister, I have never been able to understand the revelations. I tried once, it was so confusing, and I thought I better not waste my time. I must admit. Perhaps some commentator can tell you better, I can't say. Yes, please.
That's what you said, that creation is not bad. But sometimes if we're aware of people torturing each other, rape, murder, there's so much suffering, so much of what seems evil.
Sister and brother, then who has created that?
Lord,
You and I. We have made this creation a hell. He didn't create anything bad.
how can we do anything without His will?
Well, His will is that He has created the creation. Now we have made it a hell here. We are killing each other. We are cutting each other's throat. So if we reform ourselves, the creation will automatically be reformed. As I said today, you cannot pick the thorns of the world, but you can definitely wear your shoes. That they don't affect you at all. So we cannot reform this creation. We can reform ourselves. That doesn't affect us at all.
I follow that. But the question remains to me.
You see, my purpose of saying is, when you go to see a play, you see many miserable scenes there. People torturing them, cutting them throat. They have been given that part to play. If you know these people are not involved, they have only given a part to play, and you also look at it as a play, then you don't become miserable. If you involve yourself with them, you will become miserable. But I mean to say that we should not involve ourselves with this creation, what's going on. We will become miserable. We should take it as a play on the stage, as a spectator. That they have their parts to play and they are playing their parts. And we are just spectators. Then we won't become miserable.
Sometimes I see the person who is in the play, and I know that they're suffering intensely. And sometimes it's hard to explain how God can be all love and still allow that player to really suffer that intensity.
Because you see, we have made it, we have done all that. We are responsible for all that. Now, president sitting in a palace, but see the prisoners in the jail. They have to grind and they have to go through so many hard exercises. Who is responsible? President is punishing them? Or they have punished themselves by their actions? They can't blame the warden that he is cruel, or president is cruel who has made this jail. They are cruel on themselves. President is always forgiving them. Warden has to do its own duty. They are responsible to come to that prison and going through such hard exercises, hard labor. But they always blame the warden and the authorities. They don't want to blame themselves for their lot.